Legend of Dead Mansion, codename Sean. He was the best work from trained children in weapon skills, undercover, and assassination. He was supposed to be sent to a Yakuza family of Japan, which was the top clients of Dead Mansion Kid, but due to mistaken delivery, Kid was sent to the Korea. Pastor was thinking that it had been 5 years, and maybe he was already dead by now. But with grin smile, he was happy to know about his survival. Pastor asked Sexy Nun to go find him no matter what need to be done. The sexy hot MILF number from before, her name was Rachel. She heeded his command. She prepared to take any measure necessary to bring him back to Mansion. Dead Mansion trainer Rachel, with unknown responsibility and speciality. Pastor Leave ordered her to not harm him and leave weapon here as she going to aboard. Scene shifts. Man was apologizing and mentioned he is Joseph's father Kwan Byung. He promised the reparation for inflicting damage to her son. Hyung's mom replied, "Nothing matters now, and simple apologies can't change anything." With bold attitude, he moves from there. He told mother that she will not listen to his words as her intention is far from having negotiation, and he doesn't have time for this. Next, Bi Hangwoo was in his car. He remarks that his nose is stinging from dust, stench from her workplace. He ordered his men to tear down the shop and mark new building there. Then he asked, "What is the condition of that kid? And did he take care of it?" His driver replied, "Yes, Assistant O, he's taking care of it, and he should be done with it about now, and should be calling us." Then the scene shifts to the hospital, where Joseph was caring for his injuries that he sustained when fighting Cheyenne. He was cursing him and told his father that he was saying something about the 3 principles. His father asked if it was trending meme in these days. Then he looked towards the nurse, a sexy one. He told her she could give them a minute and leave them alone for a bit. The sexy nurse left the place. Then Joseph was about to talk to his father, but his father slapped him in the face. He told him, "Do you know what I'm most mad about? Whether you bullied a kid which led him to jump from this classroom, I don't care about that." He said to his son that if he has started something, then he should know how to finish it and handle it cleanly. The basic rule of the work is not to do the same thing twice, Joseph. He warned his son that he should take care of these things properly from next time. The scene shifts to where Cheyenne was being beaten by the adults. He fell to the ground, getting beaten by them. One of them looks like O. He put on his gloves and started to beat Cheyenne again. He beat him up. He told him, "It's not easy like to the 4 kids of your age. When it comes to adults, it will not work the same way. You have crippled Master Half, and because of that, he is unable to move. Now he's in a state of inflammation, and you should repent." He put his leg on Cheyenne's hand and tried to break it, saying, "This is how adults make things right." Then they left. Cheyenne was mocking them, saying they could not break his bone. They thought it had been broken, but only his joints were dislocated. He quickly recovered his hand from it. It was very different from Rachel's punishments that he used to bear in the Dead Mansion. Aside from that, things have gotten troublesome now. He can't use his full strength without a command due to the 3 principles engraved in him. Well, this should be enough to calm things down, he thought. He took his bag and left. He thought that if something troublesome happened, he would get a new identity for himself. When he was about to leave, Hyung Ho's mother came. They met, and she asked, "It's you, Cheyenne, but why do you look like that?" Cheyenne was fully messy because of the beating. He greeted her and was taken to her home, where she gave him food. She told him, "Don't be so hurried. Eat a lot." Cheyenne took "eat a lot" as a command and started to eat. She told him he would choke, so drink some water as well. He quickly listened to that as a command and drank as well. He was full from eating, and she was happy to see Cheyenne like this. Cheyenne asked her if Hyung Ho was doing better. She told him Hyung Ho is fine and that the doctor said the surgery went fine. We just have to keep an eye on him, and he will overcome every hardship he is bearing right now. She cried a lot to see her child in such a state, knowing she couldn't do anything about it. She just wanted to destroy everything, like the pain in her heart. She wanted to tear apart the person who made him like this, who injured him, and tear them into pieces. Cheyenne was listening to her and thought this was his command. When she turned back towards Cheyenne, saying sorry he was not there, Cheyenne had already left. The menace was coming, and it felt like there was going to be a massacre now by our protagonist. The scene shifts towards a building. This was the building of Joseph's father. He was pleased and even commended his workers, saying they had worked hard, and his construction was at this phase because of their effort. There was a butler serving liquor to the bodyguards. When he was about to serve them the wine, he hit him with the wine bottle, practically slashing his face. The person was Cheyenne. Then another person came and asked what his deal was. Cheyenne beat them up as well, massaging their faces like something you could not even get in a spa. He put glass in his hand, but our protagonist kicked him and took a spoon in his hand, ready to show something. A few feet away, he threw the spoon like a shuriken. It struck the eyes of the bodyguards behind. The noise caused other bodyguards to become enraged. What was the noise about? They asked, and the lights were also turned off. Many of the bodyguards were already fallen on the ground. They knew something was happening. Joseph's father was in surprise and slight fear as well. The blonde-haired kid, our protagonist, was under the table, hiding. The words, "The parent's command is absolute," a principle engraved in the children of the dead mansion, were roaming in the protagonist's head. He was killing them like some kind of killing master. He didn't even need a gun to kill them like that. He was able to kill them very easily with just a spoon in his hand. He remembered her words, "Tear everyone to pieces." He recalled Hyung-ho's mother's words. They were all fighting, but they could not win against the protagonist, who was highly skilled in combat. Suddenly, someone threw a knife at him. He dodged it, which caused another bodyguard to fall. It was the same person who was beating our protagonist before. He thought he had broken that arm of his, but this time he was going to break it for sure. As soon as he was ready in position, with brutal precision, without giving any slight moment to think, he directly launched his attack toward the bodyguard, catching his hand, and he beat him up. He demonstrated how to break a hand and then broke the bodyguard's hand. He looked toward Joseph's father, who aimed a gun at him. It was hard to aim from above. Shine mocked him. Joseph's father tells, "You think you're a pro? Then why don't you try?" He continued, "I heard that kids in Korea do these cruel things. Are you part of that crew?" "I don't know about that," the protagonist replied. "But if you were to ask what I'm affiliated with, Hyung-ho's mother. Do you remember something old that the old lady said? Huh? That chief kept giving a foul smell. Like, I finally get it now. So, bitch hired you to kill me." "No. She told me to tear you into pieces." "What? What are you talking about?" Joseph's father exclaimed. The protagonist snatched the gun from him and beat him up. Joseph's father could not understand anything, and he kept getting beaten by the protagonist. The protagonist said, "The first principle, a parent's command is absolute." He beat that MF up. But as the protagonist was about to leave, Joseph's father said, "Efficiency is the most important thing when working. You can't do the same thing twice." "I knew it. You and that bitch. I should have taken care of it properly back then. Next time, I will kill you both." The protagonist picked up the gun from where it had fallen from Joseph's father's hand. "What nonsense are you spouting?" the protagonist said, and he stated the third principle. "If there is any slight danger to the parents, then you are to forget all the principles and act on your own." Then he shot the hanging light in the ceiling. It fell off towards Joseph's father. The protagonist left. Then the scene shifts to where Joseph was in the hospital. A nurse was serving him saline water. "Wow, this is cold." "It's really cold, isn't it? This is the first time someone in this hospital? I guess the guy that really hit you is good at fighting." "This is too much." Nurse was talking to him. "Oh yeah, man, she was doing some sexy stuff. Don't get horny, fellas." "Hey, earlier, what were you and your father talking about? The three principles? You mentioned something like that," she asked. "Hey, the color of the medicine is funny, you know," Joseph said to her. "Oh, you don't have to worry. You won't die. I only used half." She opened her mask, and as soon as she did, her face changed. She was Rachel, a sexy nun from the Dead Mansion. The Dead Mansion is a training facility, and my responsibility is to be an undercover agent of the Dead Mansion and also an interrogation expert.